Hi, my name is Michael Spencer and I'm a UX designer. This is my presentation about an as yet unnamed language learning app. Every design story starts with a user, and this one begins with Julian. He's a 32-year-old service desk technician who has recently moved to Germany. He's struggling to communicate in German as well as doing everyday tasks. He's also frustrated by a lot of the learning applications he's tried, as the content often feels impractical and irrelevant to his real-world goals. As he likes to put it, memorizing words is a start, but when I want to experience the culture, that only happens when you have the confidence to actually use the language. So what does Julian actually need from a learning app to achieve his goals? His main aim is to experience German culture, which means he needs a tool that allows him to apply what he learns directly to his day-to-day life. He's also looking for a mature and straightforward experience, having been fed up with the gamification in other apps. He wants one that focuses on practical skills rather than on childish games or artificial pressure. And finally, to build the confidence he's lacking, he needs to see and hear vocabulary used in the context of real-life situations. This is the only way he'll feel ready to use the language in a real conversation. This brings us to the core problem. The real issue for Julian isn't just learning words, it is that he lacks a way to learn them in the context of those real conversations. For example, if he's posting a parcel and looks up the phrase "Kann ich dieses Paket bitte senden?", what is to stop him from looking that phrase up again the next time he visits the post office? Since he is not learning this phrase but looking it up each time, he fails to memorize the vocabulary that he needs and fails to build the real-world confidence to actually speak the language. So my initial hypothesis was that by creating a context-driven application that lets him save and practice real-world phrases, I could achieve a measurable increase in his confidence and his practical skills. With that clear problem in mind, it was time for me to start designing. My first step was to create a series of paper prototypes in order to explore how I could solve Julian's problem. Based on my initial research, these prototypes focused on two key areas. The first, creating a truly personalized app from the moment the user opens it. And second, developing a simple way for them to learn real-world phrases they encounter in their daily lives. During the onboarding process, this app asks about real-world goals. This is the most important step as it ensures all the content Julian learns will be immediately relevant to him. As you will see when we reach the home screen, the choices made here dictate which flashcard decks are pre-installed and ready to use. Next, it establishes his current skill level. This allows the app to tailor the difficulty of the lessons right from the start, avoiding the frustration of content that's either too easy or too advanced. I specifically avoided technical terminology like A1, A2, B1, etc. My research showed that whilst users with prior foreign language knowledge understand these terms, monolingual individuals have no idea what they mean. And finally, to help Julian stay consistent, the app needs to understand the user's desired learning habits and help him build a routine by setting a daily study goal and scheduling reminders. The idea is to make learning a natural part of his day. The second key area of my design was the app's core feature, a simple way for Julian to capture and learn the real-world phrases he needs. Let's return to the problem we discussed earlier. Julian is in a shop and needs to ask for a charging cable, but he doesn't know the right words. From the app's home screen, my design gives him a prominent translate button, making it the primary and most obvious action he can take. Let's follow along with him. He opens the app and taps the translate button. He then taps and types the phrase he needs. He is immediately presented with the translation and, crucially, the option to save it to a flashcard deck. This simple flow is designed to bridge what one of my research participants called the real-world gap. As he put it, "I can get a question right on the phone, but then I go to town here and I can't even ask for a loaf of bread without pointing like an idiot. It feels like a separate thing, the app and the real world." This feature directly addresses that frustration. It enables Julian to solve an immediate problem and simultaneously save that solution as a new flashcard. That real-world phrase now becomes a part of his daily study routine, building both his vocabulary and his confidence for the next time he's in that situation. Throughout this presentation, you will have seen that I've been using paper mock-ups and sketches of phone screens to demonstrate the functionality of my app. Whilst this was good for a while, I knew this could not last forever. The step I took was to translate them into a low-fidelity digital prototype. I used Figma to build the necessary screens, and I focused on the core user flows of onboarding and the translate and save feature. Creating this digital version was a crucial step, as it gave me a realistic and interactive product that I could put in front of real participants to get their feedback. Naturally, the purpose of a prototype is to find its flaws, and the usability tests revealed a few, one of which was sadly a critical one. Whilst participants could navigate the app, the core feature was a point of major confusion. This was a severity 4 usability catastrophe on the Jakob-Nielsen scale. As you can see, the problem was summed up perfectly by one of the participants who, when looking at this exact screen, said simply, "I just wasn't sure what save the deck means." This feedback was a huge learning moment. It showed me that whilst the functionality was obvious to me, and whilst the feature was easy to use, its purpose and value must be instantly understandable. Clearly, right now, it wasn't. This led me to the solution. The fix itself was simple, but it was completely driven by that user feedback. As you can see in the before and after, I changed the button label from the ambiguous Save to Deck to the much clearer Save as Flashcard. This small change has a huge impact. It instantly communicates the feature's purpose and value to the user, turning a moment of potential confusion into a moment of clarity. This solves the core problem by aligning the design with Julian's expectations. Finally, I addressed a few other key pieces of feedback from the usability test to further improve the design. One user found the translation flow confusing because it didn't match her mental model. In her words, "I think we are used to it being the other way around, like in Google Translate." So to better match her expectations, I redesigned the screen to a more conventional type then press pattern. Another user noted a missing feature during account creation, saying, "It's good to be able to view the password. I want to be able to see what I've typed." Based on that, I added a show password icon to improve usability. And finally, to help users select their skill level more accurately, I added a link to a short placement quiz addressing feedback that users weren't sure how to define their own skill level. During this process, the first and most important thing that I learned was that for a language app to be successful, motivation is everything. My research showed that users need to learn content that is directly relevant to their personal goals. Otherwise, they quickly lose interest. As one participant, a 35-year-old army technician, put it, "The apps will have me learning the words for an elephant or a turtle. I need to know how to ask for a receipt or how to say, 'I'm just looking.'" Secondly, the biggest opportunity in this space is to bridge the real-world gap. The goal isn't just to help users memorize words, but to build a tool that gives them the confidence to use those words in real conversations. This was a recurring theme in my research, with the same user perfectly summarizing the issue. The problem is, it's just memory, not skill. As for next steps, the immediate plan would be to continue refining the prototype based on the usability feedback. After that, the main priority would be to build out the core learn feature, using learning science principles like spaced repetition. This approach is based directly on user insights, with one interviewee explaining, "You need to repeat it often enough. It's just a proven neurological strategy. You have to repeat them at certain intervals." And that really is the crux of the matter. For any learning app to be successful, it needs to have a core loop where users want to repeat and repeat and repeat the same lessons and the same phrases until they have it memorized. And with that, I would like to thank you all for your time. If you have any questions on this project, I will happily answer them in the comments section.